My name is Sacha Craddock and I'm the chair of New Contemporaries, and obviously you realise we are actually filming this in the top floor of Corner House at the beginning of the New Contemporaries exhibition, and I'm with Wolfgang Tillmans, who's one of our selectors, the selectors for this year. Before Wolfgang and I really enjoy ourselves talking about the exhibition and the sort of the trials and tribulations of selection and the intensity of it, I just would like to give a brief background to New Contemporaries and, in a way, to its relationship to Manchester, to Corner House. New Contemporaries has come to Manchester on and off for so long, and we have a very strong relationship with Corner House. And so, in a way, hanging this show here, you get a sort of sense of familiarity on the different floors. Later on, I think we'll ask Wolfgang about sort of characteristics of work at this moment, what we see, if there's any sense of a trend. But perhaps we should talk about who else you selected with. John Stezeker, who probably was in Young Contemporaries a long time ago. He's a very, very good artist whose work, in a way, you'll see reflections of his approach in the selection. And also Saskia Olber-Wolbers, who's a filmmaker. Perhaps we could just describe a bit about what you went through.
Well, I've been on a number of juries over the years, but I've never experienced anything like this. This was a proper 5-day week from 10 in the morning until 7 in the evening of non-stop viewing slides projected to us in a little viewing room. I think we had 1,100 entrants, so each entrant had 10 slides to represent their work with, plus like hundreds of video artists. And so we were looking at least 10,000 pictures and hundreds of videos that we had to give some justice to. You can't just throw them out after 1 second, so you have to look at them for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes until everybody is satisfied that this is no good or that it can go into the next round. So, and there was a great sense of responsibility. No? Everybody wanted to really do everybody justice, and even in the late afternoon when we got very tired somehow. Sometimes
having to be on the floor.
Yeah. But it was an incredible monitor of what goes on.
And what we found from this show is actually not people, I mean, on the whole, people not wanting to kind of be particularly zany formally. I mean, do you want to, it's a different approach at the moment.
Yeah, it's hard, well, that's the whole story. It's hard to pin it down to any particular trend, obviously, when you have 1,100 people. But I guess, yeah, what you said, it's this trying to understand what you're looking at. But within that, then over the course of the days, there were trends also emerging that probably the individual artists were not aware of, but then by just the sheer numbers and coincidence, we would pick up on things that wouldn't interest us. Like, for example, there was a number of leaning sticks or leaning planks of wood leaning on walls, and that was one of the
It's quite amusing.
Trends. There's like dozens and dozens of just sort of things leaning. That gesture, of course, is a great gesture, but when you just suddenly see it being multiplied
over and over,
so you try to reflect what is there. That's important, that one doesn't fashion it after one's own desires, but on the other hand,
you can't help
but think also that you want something that goes beyond what we know. It's true. I mean, formally, the work stays within the boundaries of the rectangle, you know, and within the boundaries of the pedestal and the video screen. In a way, it's also, well, if you want to knock this, then you can say, yeah, it's conservative. But then again, what is conservative about a picture? A picture is a picture is a picture, and if there is something interesting happening.
It's in the picture.
In the picture.
Yeah, it's the picture, not what it, the form it.
So the radical gesture is maybe not so overtly there, but somehow it's in the work.
It does happen to feature quite a lot of photography. It isn't really because you take photographs necessarily. It just happened that there was a very, very strong application came from a lot of fantastic, rather in a way apparently straightforward kind of photographs of places or of things.
And also interesting, initially we thought that all video is bad and no interesting videos, and then in the end we came through with
thinking
like
it
a
was
handful
the strongest.
of fantastic ones. Yes.
I mean, the work here, the video in there, which is Alexandra Handel's one about Jerusalem, about a visit to Jerusalem, is very poetic and gentle. And then there's the exact opposite, which is that mental Scottish one.
Oh, yeah.
Where, you know, there's pattern of Scottishness that's gone completely mad. There's a fantastic range of video presence, and also the music one is pretty. In a way, it's kind of a bit like I don't know if it's like going to a club or something, but it's terribly hard with New Contemporaries. Often one's asked about some kind of conclusion, and you know, it's false. What comes first? The people who select for their own reasons and a proper discussion, and then you can't really draw a conclusion because it's been cut down. But you know, just in terms of trends. But I do think the great thing about New Contemporaries is that it gives the public an amazing chance to just, in a way, have work done for them in terms of selection and thought. So actually you get a ready-made experience, and you don't, I mean, I
must really also, can only stress that the sense of duty that we had. You know, I really felt that we did a great service of really a public service of going through all this work, because you just could not possibly do that yourself. And so I mean, it was super interesting to be allowed doing it, but in a way, I mean, I can only recommend this show because it is a genuine monitor reflection of what goes on right now, and it's been selected by 4+ you visually highly literate people and very different people, and everybody had their voice, and so it is actually, I think, quite representative.
Yeah, it
and
is.
One thing about just to come back to the medium one last time, with photography and this show being not about media. You know, it's not a painting prize, it's not a photography award, and the way I look around in this room, it's just beautiful how the different media are hanging right next to each other. You know, a painting that is taken from a photograph, photographs that feel painterly, or you know, a photocopy that has been meticulously drawn with pencil. All the different layers of representation are equally here side by side, and that is
it's very true, actually.
That's a really amazing thing, which
yes, that's very true.
You know, the world is so fragmented into, oh, this is video, this is photo, and this New Contemporaries have always been just very open, and for that it's really worth seeing as well.